Your gas prices just got held hostage, not by some oil company. Not by Wall Street traders running up numbers on a screen. By one man. One order. One choke point that controls 20% of everything your car, your heat, your grocery delivery, and your entire economy runs on. Iran's new supreme leader, Mojtaba Khamenei, just gave his very first order: close the Strait of Hormuz. Keep it closed, and just like that, 21 million barrels of oil per day stopped moving. Let that sink in. 20% of the world's entire oil supply. Gone. Not disrupted. Not delayed. Just stop. Tankers are sitting still. Refineries waiting. Markets are in full panic mode, within hours of that announcement. Oil blew past $100 a barrel. Shipping insurance for tankers heading anywhere near the Gulf tripled overnight. Companies started rerouting ships around Africa, adding weeks to delivery times and millions in costs. And analysts started doing the math nobody wanted to see on what happens if this thing stays shut for more than a few days. Here's what makes this different from every other Iran threat you've heard before: this isn't a negotiating tactic. This isn't saber-rattling to get sanctions lifted. Mojtaba Khamenei, Iran's brand new supreme leader, went on state television and said it plain. The strait stays closed. U.S. military bases across the Middle East shut down, or they become targets. His first move as the most powerful man in Iran wasn't diplomacy, it was economic strangulation, and the reason he did it, the reason this is happening right now, is something that should scare every single person watching this video. Mojtaba Khamenei isn't his father. His father, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, ran Iran for over 3 decades. Calculated. Patient. Willing to play the long game. Willing to negotiate when the pressure got too heavy. Mojtaba is built different, younger. More hardline. More willing to torch the whole board if it means coming out on top. And his first move told you everything you need to know about how he operates. He didn't send a diplomatic cable. He didn't request a back-channel conversation. He went on state television and shut down the most important energy choke point on the planet. But here's what you need to understand. This isn't reckless. This is calculated. Iran has been studying America for decades. It watched the US bleed through Iraq. Watched it grind through Afghanistan. Watched the American public get exhausted, lose interest, and demand the troops come home. And Iran learned something from all of that. Something the Pentagon doesn't want to say out loud: you don't beat America on a battlefield. You beat America at the cash register. The Strait of Hormuz is 21 miles wide. Iran owns the northern shore. It spent years packing that coastline with mines, missiles, drone swarms, and fast attack boats, all of it designed not to win a naval battle but to make that waterway too dangerous for any ship to use. And here's the cold reality. The US can bomb Iranian military installations. Can sink Iranian ships. Can light up Iranian infrastructure from the air. None of that reopens the strait. Because Iran doesn't need to defend the waterway. It just needs to make the risk of sailing through it higher than any shipping company is willing to accept. That's the trap. And America just walked into it. Now run the economic math and watch how fast this hits your actual life. Oil stops flowing through the strait. Global supply drops 20% overnight. Prices spike. Refineries start running low on crude. Within 48 hours strategic reserves get activated. Within a week gas stations in certain countries start running short. Within a month, if this stays shut, analysts are projecting oil hits $150 a barrel. Worst case scenarios have it cracking $200. At $200 oil you're looking at $7 to $8 a gallon at American pumps. $10 to $12 in Europe. That's not a projection. That's arithmetic. And it doesn't stop at the gas station. When oil gets expensive, everything gets expensive. Shipping costs blow up, so everything you order online costs more. Airline tickets double. Food prices spike because farms run on diesel and trucks run on diesel, and the entire supply chain from farm to shelf runs on energy. Heating bills explode. A family spending $200 a month on gas is suddenly spending $500. That's $3,600 extra a year that most American families flat out do not have, and when families can't cover the basics, economies don't slow down. They crack. The 2008 financial crisis started with housing. The next one could start right here. With one man's order. One closed waterway. One choke on the global energy supply that triggers inflation. Triggers recession, triggers the kind of economic pain that topples governments. Iran knows this. This is the whole strategy, because here's what Khamenei is actually betting on. He's not betting he can beat the US military. He's betting that when gas hits $7 a gallon, American voters lose their minds. They stop caring about Iranian geopolitics. They stop caring about strategic interests in the Middle East. They start showing up at town halls screaming about not being able to afford to drive to work. And politicians who can't fix it get thrown out. And eventually, because this is how it always goes, the political pressure becomes so heavy that Washington blinks. Forces pull back. And Iran walks away with exactly what it wanted: regional dominance. Without winning a single conventional battle, and here's where it gets truly suffocating. Because there are only three ways this ends, and not one of them is good. Scenario 1. US goes in hard and forces the strait back open, warships escort tankers through. Navy units clear mines. Fighter jets run combat air patrol overhead. Iran retaliates. Missiles start flying at US bases across the region. Saudi oil facilities get hit. UAE ports burn. Regional war ignites across the entire Middle East simultaneously. Oil prices don't stabilize, they explode. Global recession kicks in within weeks. This scenario is catastrophic. And right now it is the most likely path we're on. Scenario 2. Somebody blinks and negotiates. The US agrees to lift sanctions. Iran agrees to reopen the waterway. Oil flows again. Prices come back down. Crisis over. Except it's not over. Because what just happened is Iran held the global economy hostage and got paid. And the message that sends to every adversary of the United States, every government watching this play out, is crystal clear. You want concessions from America? Find a choke point. Squeeze it. Wait. They'll negotiate. That's a strategic disaster that echoes for decades. Scenario 3. The strait stays shut and the world tries to adapt. Oil gets rerouted around Africa through alternate shipping lanes. Takes longer. Costs way more. But eventually it works. Except prices stay elevated for months. Maybe years. Inflation becomes the new normal. Recession spreads globally. And Iran, even as its own economy takes serious damage, gets to watch American influence in the Middle East slowly collapse without firing a single missile at Washington. Every scenario ends badly. Iran designed it that way, so here's what you do right now: understand that this is already hitting your wallet. Gas is spiking now. Groceries are next. Heating bills are coming. This isn't a foreign policy story happening somewhere far away on a map. It's a financial crisis landing on your doorstep. Iran's new leader made his opening move. He wants dominance, and he just showed the entire world exactly how far he's willing to go to get it.